Okay, today we're gonna do the cradle, and just to make sure, if you've been watching any of these videos before, please get the course below because you'll be able to learn all these moves in detail and a whole lot more. There's over 250 moves. Get the course below. There's a link.
We made it for you.
Yeah, let's get right into it. So this is the cradle, and you want to start off? How do you?
I do. So this is a really good lift for seeing if you both feel comfortable being lifted and lifting each other. Okay, this is a really good move. Ladies, if you want to see if a guy is actually strong enough to lift you, this is a good way to test, because some guys are a lot stronger than they look. And some girls are a lot heavier than they look. Some of the buffest girls I know way outweighed some of the other girls I knew. It was crazy. It was just so crazy. She'd be tiny, but she'd weigh a ton. So you just want to really, this is a good test.
There's this guy that comes to the dance hall who's like shorter than I am, but who's like thicker than I am. And I'm pretty sure he weighs less than I do, but he just like feels heavier. So it's the same thing for anybody,
right?
Girls, guys alike.
So you just want, for your safety and your partner's safety, to do this lift because it really helps you just test each other out.
Yeah.
Right? This is also really good to do with anyone. You could. I did this with my 10-year-old little brother. Right? So this is.
Should we show him how to do it?
Mm-hmm.
So you're just doing the cuddle bop, right? And then you're actually gonna wrap up your girl, spin her out, boom, and let down, and you can give a little dip at the end. Okay? So it's just like cradling a baby. You're just picking that girl up and you're just cradling her around, and then you just set her down and you finish with a little dip, or you don't have to finish with the dip.
If you want to, I would recommend going and finding the cuddle bop and the safe dip, because that's what you're doing. You're putting the cuddle bop first, because you're dancing. You do your lift, you finish with the safe dip. That's how it works.
Yep. So basically, pretty simple in this move. You're just gonna wrap her up on your right side, guy's right side, so your left hand is gonna be over. So just doing that again. Your hands are gonna be like this.
Take your left hand across your chest.
You're gonna wrap her up, and then you're actually going to just let go, and you're gonna kind of like bump her out. Now, whenever I do that, I was just like give her a little bit of a hint and like move her out just a little bit. Now, there are a couple different things that you can do from this move. You can like bring her in and you can spin her by. That's on another video. But on this one, you're gonna want to lift her up. So it's important to put your right, like, to show her where she's going to go. Because if I go like this and bring her in, she's just gonna spin in. But I don't want her to spin in. I want her to come up. So what do? I throw her hand up. I just instantly go up, and I'm going down right there.
He pulls me towards him as well. Now, ladies, in order to feel this, I have to have tension in my arm.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, he can do that very same move. Go ahead. And they won't go anywhere, right? So you have to pretend that there is a rubber band connected to your hip. So even when you've flung out to here, right? You want to make sure that you have tension in your arms so that when you recover and he pulls you back, your body moves with that hand. So gents, you go up and towards yourself so that her arm naturally goes around his neck, just like that.
We were just barely teaching a group of like 20 to 25-year-olds, and we were rotating the whole time, and like nobody had any experience with it, and we were just rotating.
They got really good.
It was super fun, and the number one thing I was just teaching every girl was like, okay, just have tension, like pull back on me more, like bend, flex your arm and kind of pull back on me like this, and after like a minute or 2 minutes, the girl was like, oh yeah, like this. I was like, that's perfect. And then Jessica was in the middle, and I was one of the people who was out on the outside. She's like, okay, rotate. And I was like, oh man, I just barely got it. And then the next girl, okay, tension. And we get it. And they'll be like, yes. And they'll be like, okay, rotate. And the new girl. So that's the number one thing that like on any of these moves, it's having that tension so you know where the guy is leading you.
And it's called the sweet spot. Okay, sweet spot because it's an S. So you've got a curve here and you've got a curve here. And you want both of them. You want this hand one, because otherwise we slip out. It doesn't matter how he pulls, because he's not using his thumbs, right? If he used his thumbs, go ahead, then I could, but even still, and it just hurts. So you need this part of the S, and you need this part of the S. So you have a curve here and a curve here. It's a sweet spot. And this S flexes like a rubber band, right? But it never goes away.
Yeah, and it's the exact same for the guys. What would you recommend? Because that was my recommendation, dancing with girls, what they could do to improve. What would you recommend for the guys to improve?
Right.
What's the biggest thing you've seen?
So the biggest thing I've seen actually is often the opposite. So,
Okay.
So you'll get girls who are timid, right? You'll get girls who are timid and they won't hold on or they won't flex, right? And every once in a while that will happen because you'll get a really nervous guy. But most guys, when they're nervous, they get tense, right? So they'll
or when we're cold.
They'll actually often go like this.
Oh yeah, sure.
So they'll finish, right? and they'll finish in two ways. They'll pinch down and they'll straighten their elbows, right?
Just like this.
Right. And they'll often even back up. So their shoulders will come forward and their booty will go back, and it goes both ways. I've seen girls do the same thing, right? So to correct this, I always tell the guys, you want to show off what you got. So you show off your pecs and you show off your biceps. And that goes in two ways. You never let your shoulders come forward, right? You keep them back, so you show off these chest muscles. And doing that will naturally cause this to bend a little bit. And at the same time, you're probably twice, if not 3 times stronger than your girl. So you want your tension, you want to be really careful with your tension, right? Try and, I wouldn't say match her. She's supposed to match you, but make sure you are matchable, right? So that she can pull back as much as you do. Because the truth is, you can pull way harder than she can. So you want to keep it really soft.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about her body and her arms, it will change everything.
Yeah. So going back to this move, you're gonna wrap her up, and then you're going to spin her out to your right hand side. Now, on any of these moves, you can do it to the other. You can do it to the other side. You can wrap her up like this and spin her out. It's just more natural to spin her out to the right side, but you definitely can go like this. And then dip. She's not used to it.
No,
she's not
so
used
backwards.
to it. So usually you go to the right hand side. I actually want to practice doing it to any side, to both sides on any move. That's another level above, but just start out right now. Spin her out to your right hand side. Keep that tension, guys. Loosen up a little bit. Girls, make sure you're tight. Again, it can be vice versa, but generally it's like that. And you're going to have your arm, you're going to send it up, and you're actually going to take a step with your right hand, or with your right foot, sorry, towards her, and you're going to crouch down. Now, she is not going to jump. So many girls I've seen, have you seen it?
Wow.
So many girls, they jump, and the guy expects the girl to jump, like, okay, jump in my arms. Like, and it's super heavy, and it's like, oh, this move sucks. But what it's supposed to be is the guy is supposed to sweep the girl off her feet.
They also call this the bridal carry, because he's sweeping her off her feet.
And it looks so much better when you sweep her rather than her jumping into your arms. It looks like this. Let's just do it. And when you're doing it, 2 things is, first thing, you got to go towards her. Second thing, you got to get low. And I always put my right hand on her hip, and you put your hand on top, don't you?
I actually grab this right here.
Okay.
But you can do that.
And then I take my left hand and I put it on her left leg, and I just sweep her up. Boom. And I just start going, and I start to turn, and I just start to spin, right? So just practice that with us.
Should I teach the girl part of it?
Yes.
Okay. So as a girl, he's gonna pull, right? And we take a prep step. So we're out here. He pulls. I step. I give him that leg, right? A couple things happen. He led my hand to go around his neck. Now, if we just jumped, right, like you're saying, when I jump up, where's my arm? It's over his shoulder like this. And you should try it. She weighs so much more when you do it like this, right? It's almost impossible.
Especially when she's pregnant.
Hey! Okay. The next, so you really want your arm here. One that helps you land in his arms more correctly, and two, you're able to lift yourself a little bit, okay? The other thing you do with your arms is you get a grasp.
That helps so much when you tighten your arm down. It makes you like 20 pounds lighter.
Mm-hmm. Some girls like to fling out like this, and if you get a guy and you like to do that together, that's just fine. But a lot of times that's really heavy, right? There's a move for that specifically. It's called the drop cradle. Look it up. But this one, you want to hold yourself tight. You want to lift yourself, okay? The next thing is you don't jump, right? But you do use your momentum. So I don't jump up, but I step forward.
Yeah.
I kick my legs forward. So I give him this one in my prep step, but then I take the other and I go forward with my whole momentum is going forward. That's why you also want to spin with this move, because her momentum will help you get her up.
And it's literally like you're kicking a kickball in elementary school. Like you're just kick and it just flings you up, and especially when the guy's lifting you up too, it's beautiful.
Or jumping on a swing. That's also what it's like when you just go with it. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was like, she's going.
Okay, so that helps, and it helps with the timing too when you both know your parts, right? So we'll show you one more time together what it looks like. I take a prep step with my legs, throw my body forward.
And you can. So let's go on to the next part, shall we? So after I pick you up, I usually spin like one time around, and then once or twice. Let's say I go twice, and then when I'm letting her down, I slowly let her down. I don't just drop her. I go like this, and I slowly let her down, and I let one leg down, and she keeps on turning, and then I slowly let the second leg down.
So right here, he uses my momentum to spin me across his body into a dip. So use your momentum into other moves as well.
Yeah, and let's practice just letting it out and not doing the dip, just going right back into the kettlebell. So when you're doing it, guys, so it's graceful. It's just like you're lifting one leg up, and then the second leg up, and then you're letting one leg down, and then the second leg down, and you can just go back into the kettlebell.
We really appreciate it, especially for you tall guys, but I know guys who are like not tall at all, and they still get down, and it really, really helps us land with both feet all around. It looks
a lot better when you do, rather than just like a drop. It's you lightly pick her up, you sweep her off her feet, and then you just set one leg down, second leg down. It's like touch, touch. It looks really nice.
And do that with your legs too. If you watch his, you probably all saw that, but he just sat down like that. One time it was a really tall girl.
Even though we're like basically the same height, you still want to do it.
But especially when she is short or you are tall, because one time that part didn't get taught and the guy just let go and it was like a pendulum. Like she went boom, and she landed right on her face. So when you're coming out of lots of lifts, you want to be careful with that letdown every time.
Anything else that you wanted to cover?
Oh yeah, one thing to test. When you come up here, right? A really good way to test if, ladies, we are light is when we can hold ourselves. Go ahead, let go. Okay? That tells you, okay. That tells you how much core we use, right? How much we help. Something I often saw a lot of girls do too is they'll poke their feet out like this.
Oh my gosh, that makes it so much heavier.
You want to keep your legs tucked, keep your whole body tight. That's what makes you light in lifts. Is whether you are up in the air and you keep your whole body tight out, or you're being flipped or lifted and you keep your whole body tight in. That's the key to being light with lifts.
And I never knew that it mattered so much of the keeping your legs tucked in until somebody did it to me. I was like, tuck the legs, tuck the legs, tuck the legs. It's just like so much harder to hold on when you're like stiff as a board. But when you're just like nice and tucked in, oh, it feels good.
We should show them what the wrong way to be in the cradle is and the right way. Just real quick.
Okay.
So you go up.
What do you want? From the beginning?
Nah, just from right here.
Oh.
Okay.
Jump.
And she will be falling. That was really good. They often don't even
No,
spin, too.
that's really what it looks like. That's what it looks like. And we probably like shouldn't like make fun of it because that's probably exactly how we looked when we first started. Just kidding, not Jessica, because she started when she was like 2 and she was already a pro. But here's how it should look. You pick her up off her feet, spin her around, let her slowly down, and you can finish with a dip. And then you spin her out. And then you can keep on doing the cuddle ball.
Yes. One last warning, ladies, if your guy doesn't know the dip, don't dip. He won't know to catch you.
Yeah.
That's one of the few times I've fallen was because I dipped and he didn't know. So just make sure you both know. Wait for him to lead the dip before you dip.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. And if you guys are like, heck yes, I love learning how to country dance. This is so much fun. The course below is going to teach you everything you need to know about how to dance. More importantly, it's going to get you that guy or girl that's like, should I dance with him or not? And then you learn, boom, you're going to become like the coolest person of them.
And if you're like, I already know all this stuff. I've already know how to dance. I've been country dancing forever. Go on there because we have over 200 moves in an organized fashion. So you know when you're like, what was that move? What was that move?
Yeah.
But you can't even remember the name, but you remember it was a lift. You can go in the lift section and look at all our lifts. And you're like, oh yeah, that was it. And you can do it. You can see it, find it, just like that. That's half of the fun of the website.
I personally use it 15 minutes every morning. It's like my own personal dance dictionary. Like on YouTube, there isn't an order like, oh, let me just look up these 20 different moves. No, you can't find it because there isn't one. But we've already designed that in our membership site, all organized, different courses. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Go on there, get it. It's super.
And so you can
good.
dance your hearts out.